All right. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here. We're really grateful. So good evening, everybody again. Thank you for being here, at least being here on time. We're going to be starting. I think other people are going to be joining us as we continue. I'm really, really pleased to welcome you to the October edition of the Open Business Masterclass. This is something we do every two months. So the next time it's going to be in December. And this time around, for this particular edition, we are dealing with something that is like the elephant in the issues of small business, which is about funding. And I'm really, really excited to be able to bring on board someone like Adepeju Jayeoba, who is someone who has gone who has walked the road. She has walked this road. She has raised funding for, I believe, more than one business. Yes. And I'm sure that she has a lot of experience to share with us, especially about how do we start preparing our business for funding. Thank you so much, Ms. Adepeju. Please, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much, Toyin. It's a pleasure to join everyone here today, and I hope that you can still hear me.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So I know that my topic is funding readiness for businesses. Yes. So we would basically just be running through a checklist of what businesses should be aware of or what they should know when they are seeking funding, as well as examining what investors are looking for in a business or an organization. So, of course, I don't need to start from the basic. I'm sure we are very familiar, with the basic, which is have an idea, implement it, make sure your idea is solving a problem and all those things. The whole process of having to start a business. So this topic tells me that we have moved beyond the scope of looking for how to start a business. We are now moving beyond that scope to looking for how to fund our business. And the thing is that with businesses, it can either be an idea that you want to fund, or it can be an expansion that you want to fund. So typically, in terms of ideas, raising funds for ideas is quite tough. And that's because many people want to see traction. They want to see tangibles. They will call it idea plus because it's just an idea in your head. No one really knows whether this idea is viable or not, is feasible or not, would work or not. And one of the things that we need to do is to make sure that whatever business idea we are putting forward or whatever business concept we are putting forward, it must be something that has some element of sustainability in it. How do you ensure that what you have has an element of sustainability in it? Because eventually, it's the sustainability piece of your business that the investor is going to be looking at. If I put in 1 million naira into this, how much should I get back? And even if I'm an impact investor, if I put in 1 million naira into this, what's the impact figures looking like? How many people will it impact? How will it help to jumpstart this business? And that's the whole question that a social investor would be asking all the way. So the first thing you have to do in trying to get ready for funding readiness for your business is keep your accounts clean. Your account has to be clean. Now, when I say that keep your accounts clean, it's understandable that many small businesses may be unable to employ a full-time accountant. But what is important is that you are able to keep your books. So you are able to, for instance, have a line item of, okay, this is how much came in today, this is how much I spent, somebody keeping the records, those type of things is important. Because at the end of the day, when they want to do some valuation, as investors will do, as funders will request for, when they think about large scale inputs or investments in your business, you would have to be able to provide evidence, to support some of the things that you'll be putting forward at that time. And it's also discipline for your business growth, actually. Even if you are not looking for any investor, if you're not looking for any funder, it is still very imperative and important for you to make sure that your books are clean. So you're not taking money for Ashwebi out of your business account. You're not taking money for small chops out of your business account. You're not taking money for frivolity. Okay, so your son wants to celebrate his birthday. Okay, so you look at this account, you transfer 30,000 naira, and then you start the merriment. No, it's something that we gradually learn to cultivate. It's hard for many startups to separate themselves from their business. And so, especially if you have all the account linked to one token, you just be pressing the numbers, they'll just be coming up, you just be approving transaction left, right, center, and be moving it in and out and be thinking, okay, everything will be sorted. But at the end of the day, if you are looking for an investment, if you are looking for funding for your business, you need to keep your accounts clean. Because by the time you submit, for instance, if you're looking for large investment, by the time you submit this before an investor and saying, Ashwebi, today, second year birthday, tomorrow, 40th birthday, next tomorrow, you are buying small chops, next tomorrow, you are paying parking, all those things from the business account, it does not speak well about your financial discipline. And so we must be financially disciplined to actually run a business and then run a sustainable business and then get investment for this sustainable business that we run. The second thing also is that you need to have a proven solution. So in terms of proven solution, it's the lifeline of sustainability. If your solution is not a solution that people want, or is a solution to a problem in your head, or is a solution that is not getting traction because it is not a widespread solution, that means that you need to check it again. If you cannot make sure that your solution is driven by sustainability, driven by traction, driven by people in terms of the fact that people can show some ownership of that business, it's a big, 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 big deal, for any funder. Because when they put in their money into this, they want to be sure that this is not just an idea in your head. So I'm sure you have heard of a play pump. Let me just recap the story of play pump. 2 students from Mozambique went on the Peace Corps in some years back, and they got into this village in Mozambique from the US and saw children, just playing on a merry-go-round in the school. They were posted, and they saw mothers, women, going miles and miles. Yeah, going miles and miles to ensure that they had water, to drink and water to, do basic hygiene stuff in their community. The Peace Corps students thought about it and developed a plan and a design that would make children who play on the merry-go-round, that would link the merry-go-round itself to a borehole. So all what it would take is just children playing on that merry-go-round and then water pumping up into an overhead tank, and a tap is linked to that overhead tank where women would fetch water. It seems like everyone is sorted out in that type of plan. But you see, in terms of the merry-go-round, children love to play. They love to play on merry-go-round. In terms of fetching water, women would not need to walk miles again to fetch water. In terms of even sustainability for the whole process, they made sure that the overhead tank has this advert space. So the overhead tank has an advert space, and they can do adverts and raise some money or income for the community and stuff like that. Fantastic plan on paper. Absolutely fantastic. They traveled to the US, they raised thousands and thousands of dollars, with the play pumps, and said, it will be called play pump because as you play, water is pumping. And so they raised this funds because all the solutions they were just right there in their head. And they looked very, very good on paper, especially when you can package very well. You can write a few things, string some words together, and then you are white again. Nobody's even going to really ask you a lot of questions. You're already you're on the right side of everything already. No problem, no suspicious look. Everybody just assumes that because you are white, you are wise. And so these guys went off with millions of dollars back to the community in Mozambique and started digging play pumps. And so they dug a couple of play pumps first, and the children started playing on it, and the problem started. They came to realize that children like to play on play pumps because they want to play, not because you want to fetch water. They are playing on their play pumps. They are playing normally because it is what they want to do at that time. It's not their business that you want to fetch any kind of water. That's not their problem at all. And so children started running away from the play pump because the play pump, the merry-go-round was no longer fun. It was now work. Now, they also did not emphasize how many times the merry-go-round will have to go around for them to have a liter of water. So children were basically having to spin and have their head spin continuously on this merry-go-round for somebody to be able to fetch a bucket of water. That's just a bucket. So children started running away from the merry-go-round. They no longer wanted to play on the merry-go-round. And so when the children stopped playing on the merry-go-round, the mothers said, this whole thing can't just go to waste. And so the mother started, pushing the merry-go-round round by round so that they can fetch water. Now, the men in the community were not happy seeing their wives playing on the merry-go-round. I mean, how can this old woman just be playing on the merry-go-round for what now? And children were no longer going to the merry-go-round. And so they stopped their wives from using the merry-go-round. So what happened next? We went back to the beginning, going back, walking miles to fetch water. So no problem was solved and no solution was provided eventually, and loads of money wasted. And what does this tell you? This just tells you that you need to have a proven solution. Proven solution means running prototypes and samples and getting feedback from your customer base. You need to continuously listen to people to develop your product. So as you continue to get feedback from people, feedback from the community of users, your early adopters and things like that, you continue to build on your business. You continue to build on your product. You continue to improve your services so that you would be able to have a proven solution. And those feedback that you receive will eventually form the fulcrum of whatever it is you are putting forward before an investor. No one says it better, not even you. No one says anything good about a product except the user of the product. It ultimately lies in the hands of the user. And when you have feedback, from your user, feedback is actually king. So what you are basically saying is that ensure that you have proven records, ensure that you have proven solution, because it is eventually what will attract investors to the things that you are doing. And then my next point is that in getting or securing funding for your business, you need to ensure that you have built a customer base. No one wants, it's only Sterling Bank that is looking for a one customer bank. No one is looking for a one customer product or a one customer kind of thing. No, you are looking to build a product that can be owned by a community of people and a community of users. Something that would outlive you, something that if you die today, it will continue to serve its purpose. That's what you are looking for. You are not Sterling Bank. You are not looking for one customer. You are looking for plenty of customers. And that's why we are talking about funding your business. So in terms of funding your business, returning customers are a very, very integral part of that. You need to be able to have customers return time and time again. And what that tells you is that as a startup, you must track your customer. So you sell a product to one person, you need to track that person. You need to find out, how is the product going? How is usage? Did you have any problem with it? The feedback is important for you for growth. It's also important for you to get that feedback to compile, to put together, because they would form the element of whatever it is you are putting together in your grant application, in your funding application, in your pitch, anything you are doing. It would form the story of how you evolved into a solid product eventually when you do. So returning customer is key, and a tie back to that is feedback process. The next thing you are talking about is you are talking about making money. So every investor, every funder wants to see, where is the money? Show me the money. Show me the train of the money. Show me the tracks of the money. Show me the footpath of the money. How is money coming in? How are you a sustainable business? How are you a sustainable enterprise? How are you a sustainable organization? How are you able to generate income into the work that you do? Those are serious questions you need to answer before you put forward any grant application, before you put forward any investment application, before you do anything. You need to be able to state categorically, where the money is. How are you sustaining this? It's understandable that in the beginning of everything, family, friends, yourself, your neighbors, your landlord, you tax everybody to be able to run the start of something. But as you eventually evolve, you need to have people outside your first base. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I can bully my friend into buying this pen for me. And my friend will buy it, not because she needs a pen, but because Peju is the one selling it, she won't let me rest, so I'll buy it. That's a sale too. But that's not the type of sale we are looking for here. We are looking for a sale from somebody who looks at the pen, sees this pen, sees the value of the pen, and parts willingly with his money to get this pen. The person has no direct relationship with Peju. The person does not know me. The person has only heard, about the pen, or has seen someone use the pen, and things that, this pen, I think that I would like it to be able to serve so and so purpose and stuff like that. Half your job is already done when you hit that type of customer. Somebody who goes all out to find whatever it is that you are producing. And they are typically called early adopters. So they are different from your families and friends. And then when you have these early adopters, utilize them. They are the risk takers. They are the ones who can this is something new. They are tripped by something new. And so they want to try it. And so because they are not related to you, they are not concerned about hurting your feelings or hurting your ego. They are just focused on whether what they have purchased is delivering value to them that is corresponding with the price that they have expended to get that particular product. And that is the question that you would need to answer at this stage. Excuse me. Then the next thing you need to do is check it. Is there a clear need for funds? So you are sitting there and you are thinking everybody is raising money. You too, you want to raise money. Everybody is writing grant application. Why are you not writing grant application? You are wondering. Please, if you do not need money, there's no point collecting money. Because money that you do not need, when you collect it, will be wasted. So you need to have a very, very clear image of where you are headed and what your needs are. Don't collect money more than you need, except it's a grant, of course. If it's an investment, I mean, you need to collect exactly what you need. Exactly what you need. So if you know that you do not need money, the fact that everybody is, everybody is winning 5 million, this one is winning 10 million, the other one is carrying 20 million, does not mean that you should. You need to be sure that you need this money. That is something that is super, 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 super important. So there must be a clear need for funds. And for you to, the big test for whether there's a clear need of funds or not is when you have something called the good problem. So you have problems. Your problem is not with selling what you are producing or even providing your service. That's not your problem. Your problem is making sure that your product can even go around the people who are asking for it, making sure that you are meeting demand. Then you have a good problem. If your problem is also you are having headache and sleepless night about how to buy more machines, and you're not thinking of selling the machines that you have, it's a good problem. So when you have good problems, there are problems, but they are good problems. When you have those type of problems, you are good to go. You should be looking for funding, you should be seeking investment, and you should be actively looking for how to be able to expand. Because the danger in not getting what you need, the funds you need, is that you would be limited in your goods. And instead of focusing on expanding markets, you would be focused on satisfying the small customer base you have. So in this game, there's no use playing small. That's just the summary. Also, it's important to learn that it's not every money that you should take. As much as we are talking about funding readiness for businesses, and we are talking about how to get ready for funds, how to make sure that our books are clean, everything is okay, we have needs for funds and everything. Understand that it's not every money that you have to take, that you should take. Not every money. You don't have to take every money that comes your way. I'll give you an example. When I was starting Colorful Giggles in last year, when I was starting Colorful Giggles last year in 2020, around, I think, July, this investor came and he said that he was going to put in some money in Giggles, and he was going to put in some money in Giggles, and that he was going to put in, I think, $30,000. He said he was going to put in $30,000, and that in exchange for that $30,000 he was putting in, he was going to, in exchange for that $30,000 he was putting in, he was going to get 15% undilutable equity, and then he was also going to get 10% interest. No, 10% of all our profits for 15 years. So basically, I would be collecting $30,000 from him as at then, July last year. And in exchange for that, I would be giving him my equity, 15% for $30,000. And then he would also be collecting 10% of all our profits for 15 years. So let me sell the company to him, because I don't see the point of running this thing or even doing anything again in the company. Let him just take the company. And that made me understand that investors really have no respect for entrepreneurs in Nigeria. A lot of Nigerian investors, because they're Nigerian investor, a lot of Nigerian investors I have found in my experience have little respect for entrepreneurs. They offer you the most basic, the minimum, and expect the whole world. So when I think he read that was not going down well. Then he started giving me examples of different businesses and entrepreneurs that have taken up this offer. Well, good luck to them if they have taken up this offer, but I do not think that I find the offer attractive, because 10% of my profit for 15 years and then 15% undilutable equity, already I have a problem. I have a problem on my hands, because eventually when I want to bring in large scale money into the business, then that means that 15% of my shares is totally gone and would not be affected by any shares that anybody takes. So my own shares will be reducing, but the shares will remain 15% till 15% is probably going to be the only shares eventually some years down the line, when they outbid you out of the company, which is not a problem. Because you see, I've come to the realization that companies did not become big corporations and companies by holding on to 100% of the shares. However, as a business owner, if you would part with equity, you must part with it with sense and be clear on what you are getting back in return. And so I walked away from that deal in July last year and put together all my resources, everything from my sisters, packed everything together and started Giggles with whatever we could start with. And then in January this year, another investor came up and said that he was going to give us $50,000 and he was going to take 15% undilutable shares alone. And it looked better than the first deal I got in July. But I looked at it and the money would be good. And it's money I don't have to pay back because I'm just giving equity in return and stuff like that. But I looked at a lot of things. In January last year, we were still just trying to stabilize. And we were working with different feedbacks that we're receiving from mothers across different places we're supplying. We're also working to expand our distributorship base, meaning that we're not even selling all that we're producing. And that means that we did not have the good problem yet. So if we don't have the good problem yet, why do I want to get $50,000? That $50,000 is just going to go to, I don't know what we are going to buy. I don't know what we are going to do with it. So I felt that it wasn't the right time that we're going to get the $50,000. And then fast forward to, I think, August this year. WFP out of the booth just called for some application and stuff like that. And then we got 21 million naira like that without having to part with things. So sometimes the key is in the weight. Ensure that you take money only when you need it. If you don't need money, there is absolutely no reason why you should take money. So take investment, take funding when you need it. Be sure that you have good problems before you decide on whether you want to take funding or not. So the other thing is, have a clear image of your ideal funder. We have said it's not every money that is for taking, but also sometimes it is good to have a clear image of your ideal funder. Are you aligning in your vision? Is your value aligning? Do you have value alignment? Do you have mission alignment, vision alignment? Is this person seeing your company where you want your company to be? Or is this person also looking for an opportunity to just edge you out of the way? And I'll give you an example. I had a meeting in August before the WFP program. And this person was supposed to be an investor. And I was there just talking to him, chatting, good meeting in a very expensive restaurant. I think it was a case. I was even very upset that day because a case is just super expensive. I bought one. Okay, so let me just, and I sat down there waiting and I was swiping my card and waiting for this meeting to start. And we had the meeting and I was there pitching and talking my mouth out and just basically telling them how we have grown at Giggles and stuff like that. And they seem like the right set of people for Giggles. They seem like the right investors, the right funders for Giggles. Everything clicked. They said all the right things. Everything they said. Until it got to a point where they said that, okay, that, they liked everything I was hearing and that since I just started Giggles in March 2020, I should go and do a calculation of the total amount I have spent in Giggles so that they can just return it to me and just buy the company out. And I'm like, okay, from how did we get to this point? From where to where now? We are talking about funding. We are talking about grants. We are talking about you putting money so that you can continue to expand. Which one is, I should go and do the calculation of, I should go and do the calculation of all the monies that I have ever spent on giggles and then give it to you so that you just buy it off and that. I mean, that was totally off. So you see, you need to be sure. Sometimes everything, someone said big man game. Sometimes everything, it looks good. Everything is okay. They have money. They have deep pockets. They are sound. They know what they are talking about. They have been in this game for long. They have been in business for decades and decades over, But it still does not mean that they are the right set of people for you. It still does not mean that they're the right set of people for you. Last year, during the pandemic, so I have a friend who runs a fashion business. And then she was doing so well on the mainland here. So well on the mainland. Someone now introduced her to, she said she wanted to expand, and someone introduced her to a bank. And the bank is one of those banks that position themselves as SME champions and stuff like that. And she got a loan of, I think, 30 million naira from this bank to expand. She said our bank was, she said the business was going to expand to the island, and she was going to get a place on the island, one of those exotic places on the island. She was going to set up. She rented a whole, I think, fourth floor building that she was going to be doing a showcase of her fashion and stuff like that. But she was doing very well on the mainland here. So she expanded. She used the launch pad of the mainland to expand to the island. Now, in terms of this expansion, she totally shut down her mainland operations, and then, as a big girl concerned, moved to the island. And the loan was facilitated just before the pandemic. So she was renovating this fourth floor building this 3-story building she had gotten on the island and everything. In the course of renovating it, because when you move to the island and all those classy neighborhoods, you need to be able to meet up with the class. I mean, Yaba standard is not going to be Banana Island standard, for example. And so she approached the bank again to give an additional 30 million naira, which makes it 60 million naira for her to be able to buy all the machines she needs, everything she needs, and stuff like that. And she did. She gathered all those things together. However, the pandemic started. And this was a fashion business. If you run a fashion business, you would know that in the pandemic, there was huge loss and cuts for those in the fashion business, because nobody's going to parties, nobody's sewing a shady, nobody's sewing anything. You're not going anywhere. You're practically in your house wearing a face mask. That's the only thing you are doing. The only thing you are doing, buying extra, is face masks in large supplies. And so it became a problem. And she reached out to the bank and told the bank that she would be unable to service the loan at that time. And the bank told her that, well, it's none of their business. They did not even give her a pandemic relief or anything like that, or a moratorium period over the pandemic. No, they told her she had to pay the money back. And this is something she had not even started. She just finished renovation. She has not earned a kobo from that building at all. And then the lease on the building was going because it was rented. She didn't buy it. It was rented. And so everything was counting and everything was just going like that. And she was watching everything. Interest was piling up. The bank has said no. Everything was just going. However, at the time the bank wanted to give her the loan, the bank told her that they'll be nominating someone on our board. And they nominated a competitor on our board. And she took on the competitor as one of our board members because the bank nominated that person. And so she continued. But when the loan was failing and stuff like that, what did the bank do? The bank recalled the loan that she couldn't pay, and then converted the loan, all the money, 60 million naira, converted it to shares, bought her out of the company, picked a competitor on the board. Exactly. Picked a competitor on the board to run the company. That's what happened. So you see, as much as we like funding, as much as we like businesses, as much as we like money, we all like money. We must look for the money with sense. You must look for the money with sense. You must immediately begin to look at it. Is there value alignment? Is there mission alignment? Is there Vision alignment. Are you people seeing the same thing? Are you headed towards the same direction? It's a brutal world out there. It is a very brutal world out there. It's a brutal. This is not a story I made up. This is a real life story. To my friend, real life story. It's important. So you see, we say all those things, not because we want the people who happen to feel bad, but because we want to be able to share our experiences, all our experiences, including those that we have gathered in the course of our journey, so that others can learn from it and others do not make the same mistakes that we have made or are making. And that's why we, many times when we speak, talk about all those things and share these examples so that we know. We are looking for fund. We are looking for money. We want money. We want to expand. We want to be able to do things. We want to be the next Gucci. We want to be the next, Nestle. We want to be the next Geba or anything. But we must do it in line with faith. It must align with our values. Any money we get must align with our values. It must align with our vision. It must align with our mission. And we must look at it with sense. My own first query to her was why she took on a competitor. You know this person is your competitor. Why do you have your competitor on your board? For what reason do you have your competitor on your board? The end was already shown from the very beginning. There's no way you would have been able to get out of that thing. Even for trade secret's sake, your competitor is in your board. So apparently they brought in that person to be able to see how, because they know she will eventually not be able to pay the loan. So they brought in the person to just see how the business is being run and learn one or two things so that when it's time for that person to take over, that person can take over with ease. They will not just be looking to head on. They will just bring in the person to manage the business. And that's exactly what has happened. So I think that I would end it here and just take questions from anyone who has questions for me. And if there are no questions, that's fine too. Thank you very much, everyone.
Wow. Like, I don't even know where to start from. Like, what I was saying in my head is that this is like a crash course in the things you need to know before you start looking for funding. It's like a 40-minute crash course of, I can't even wrap my head around some of the things that you shared about how, my God, like, I can see a few hands. I can see a hand already. If you have other questions, please drop it in the chat box. If you have a hand, please know. I myself have questions for you, but I will let people on the call, take the questions first before I go ahead and ask questions. So I think I have Adele here, first of all. Please, you can go ahead with your question.
Yes, thank you very much, ma'am. I really do appreciate this this speech. Like, I'm really blessed, like, seriously, because I've actually been looking forward to enter the big man game, just like that. Those men who wants to buy all your gigs out, So the question is, I don't know about that undilutable 15% equity. Like, what's the difference between the 15% undilutable equity and, because you were talking about one undilutable equity and the profit side. So
yes, the one that is diluted.
Yes, what's the difference, ma'am?
Okay, so if someone is saying that undilutable, that equity will not be dilutable, that means that, for instance, you are starting out with 100% equity, and this person has come to ask for 15% equity. So 100% minus 15%, we give you 85%. So that means that you have 85% and they have 15%. Now, undilutable equity means that forever, till Jesus comes, and for the life of the company, their 15% will never go below 15%. It may increase, they can buy more, but it can never go below 15%. What that means is that with my 85% that I have left, if tomorrow another investor should come and say, they were offering me $30,000. So if another investor should come and offer me, say, $50,000 and say, give me 30% equity, ordinarily, that 30% equity should be shared in proportion between the person who has 15% and the person who has 85%. So we both shared to be able to make sure that it is 100 back. What they are saying by undilutable equity is that their 15% will remain 15%. That 30% that the new funder has asked for will come from your 85%. So 85 minus 30, we give you 55%. So next year, if somebody else comes and says, okay, I can see that this company has now grown really big. We now want to be doing exports. We are expanding to Pan-African countries and stuff like that. Let me give you $1 million. They do the valuation of the company. The person says, okay, so for $1 million, you will need to take 40% of your equity. The 15% will remain 15% that this $30,000 person has gotten. And your 55%, you will shed out of it. You are the one that will keep shedding. 55% will now be minus 40% that this person wants to get. So you'll be having 15%. So you see that your 15% is now equal to the 15% of this other person. If somebody else now comes again and says, okay, you have expanded to maybe the West African region, we need money to be able to set up factories across different regions now and stuff like that, I need 10%. You are still the one that will share the 10%. So your 15% minus 10, it will leave 5%. And that person that gave you $30,000, we have 15%. So who is the majority shareholder now? The person who gave you 30%. The person who gave you $30,000 and 50% undilutable equity is your new majority shareholder and the owner of the company. I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Yes, you have. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Adepeju. Okay, Barry, you are on now.
Hi, thank you very much, ma'am. I'm grateful for this. Very wonderful. I don't know, even though I didn't really join early, but the few moments I was able to join, I know I really got a lot of points. Thank you, One Foundation, for the opportunity. So I just really need some clarification on what you said about good problems. About good problems. So for instance, I have a business. I have a business I'm running, and I want to expand. I plan events, but I want to expand into food processing and things like that. But I need to buy equipment to be able to expand into that area. And then I also run an NGO. I want to also get some money to be able to fund some of the projects we are running for beneficiaries. So these two things I mentioned now, will they be considered as good problems? Are they reasons for me to actually seek out funds? Thank you.
So the two things you have mentioned now, if you look at it, they are actually separate and individual. They are removed from your event planning stuff. So food processing is another idea on its own. So like you have become a serial entrepreneur. It's not you expanding the event business by, for instance, buying more artificial flowers, buying more rugs, because maybe they are calling you so much and you have to sometimes in a day cater for like up to 5 different events in one day. That's not the problem that we are talking about now. So that would have been a good problem, so you want to buy more materials, more decorations, more things for your event to make it, for you to be able to satisfy the demand in that area. That's a good problem. Now, what you are talking about here, food processing, as well as your NGO, those are separate entities. There are things that, in fact, by the time you list everything, people will say you're a serial entrepreneur. So they are totally different from the things that you are doing now. So if you want to start a food processing business, that is a start-up. It's not that it's a continuing business. It's not an expansion of your event planning. No, it's a new business. It's a start-up business for you. And so you can look for funds as a start-up for those ones. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you so much. I have one other person, Hagogo. I hope I pronounce your name well. I'm really sorry. But you are next. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
All
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good
yes.
evening, ma.
Good evening.
I'm grateful for this foundation and this program. I've been actually willing to speak to Ms. Adepeju. And my question is, my sister and I, we run a food business. We've registered our business name, but we are getting, we want to graduate from OAU now, and we don't know how to go about. We've been selling our custard and everything, but we don't know how to, like, we need expansion, we need money to like buy more cornstarch and everything. Even the price of cornstarch is increasingly changing, and the cost of our production is increasingly changing. We don't even know how to start to scale, because people are actually giving testimonies about this cost, but the cost of production is going high. We need more capital to produce. We don't know what to do. We are just stuck right now. So we don't know what to do. I don't know if what we can do. I don't know what we can do actually to produce, to scale to more people, and to get NAFDAC and everything.
Okay, so like in a month, what's your sales like?
You have to unmute yourself. You have to unmute yourself back. Okay.
We have sold up to like a bag per month.
What's a bag? A bag of what?
25, a bag of custard, 25 kgs in a bag of cornstarch. So we produce like a bag of
so you sell 25 kg in a month. That's
yes,
what
because
you sell in a month.
Yeah. Oh, because of
okay.
And school factors are also affect the sales, but we've been able to sell a bag for a month.
How many stores do you stock?
We've not started selling to stores, but we sell to friends, we sell to church members and people around us. And they've been buying, they've been referring their friends.
Okay. So, as with food, you need to get your NAFDAC. That's the truth. You need to get your NAFDAC because expansion is even limited for you if you don't have NAFDAC. Several stores that you go to will look out for the NAFDAC, and if you don't have it, they would be unable to stock that product. So that's something that you need to consider. In food processing and food business, the profit is in the volume. So if you are doing it on a small scale, you would actually be spending more. So I completely understand, and I can relate with some of the things that you have said in terms of how much you're spending on production, the instability of cost. You cannot even negotiate a lot of things with your suppliers because your volume is not a lot. If your volume was high now and you were moving tons and tons of cornstarch and all those stuff, they will be the one providing you with different offers that you can take advantage of. So the goal is how to get you to that point that you can become a large-scale supplier and you can move beyond. So in a month, you sell to how many customers?
We sell to like 100. We've sold to 100 successfully.
No, in a month, you sell to how many customers?
We've sold to, okay, can you hear me, ma?
I can hear you.
Ma, okay, we've sold to 100 people like in a month.
You have sold to 100 people in a month okay, so you know what, this is October. How many people did you sell to this month? Because selling 25 kg does not actually mean anything. It could be that you sold the 25 kg to 2-3 people. So how many people?
We've not sold in October, but the last month we sold to 100 persons. But our cost of production today a bag is 10,000, tomorrow is 20,000, and we don't know what to do because our profit and capital.
What you are going to do is simple now. It's telling you the climate already is telling you what to do. It's telling you that you have to scale. You understand? It's telling you that you have to scale your business. There's no two way about it. You have to scale whatever it is you are doing so that you can buy in large quantities so that you will not be affected by different prices that are fluctuating. So that you can buy, for instance, large quantities of cornstarch or whatever base that you use for your products. And when you are able to buy and stock those things, it also means you will be setting up. So this would no longer be like a side hustle. This would be something that you would have to set up and be invested in. You would need to raise funds. But a lot of the funds, from what you have told me, a lot of the funds will still need to come from you, family and friends and all those things. You have proof already. You have proof of concept already. You have sold to a number of people. But you told me that you have not sold in October. And this is October 29. If you have not sold in October, that means that the people who need custard in October, because you have not maybe produced, will find alternatives because there are always alternatives on the shelves. There are always alternatives in the market. What you don't want to do as a food producer is to help or drive your customers to alternatives. Because when you are not there, they would find something else to fill in that gap. They're not going to wait for you to come back. You understand? And by the time you come back, they already have options. So when you are on the shelf, you must always make sure that you're on the shelf. You need to raise money. You need to expand. You need to raise money. You need the funds to raise money and buy machines that can make your work easier. And also, you have time commitment or time constraints on your hands because you're still a student also. From what I understand, you are about to graduate from OAU, so you're still a student. And so those challenges are there, for you and your sister. But I have no doubt that this can be like a big business that you can really scale up, especially if you are sourcing locally. It's something investors or funders always want to hear. They want to hear that you are sourcing locally and you are supporting small-scale farmers who plant, for instance, corn with the work that you do. So those are the type of things that you'd have to put together in your applications to be able to make sure that you are able to get some funding in. Also, corn starch. I don't know how that works. I don't know the basis of that and stuff like that. But you need to be able to show some benefits of the things that you are doing. So if you are speaking to an investor, you are speaking to a funder, you need to let them know the benefits of the work that you are doing. Apart from sourcing locally and supporting small-scale farmers or small-scale holder farmers, you must also be able to show that the final product, the end product, is providing some kind of benefit to mothers, their children, or people who take them. Those are things you need to consider.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Adepeju. I think, like Shiori, I hope you've already gotten your answer. Your goal right now to be about seed funding, and you can still be able to look within, within
Absolutely.
your friends, within your whole network, first of all, before you start thinking of major external funding. So at least you have just like you said, you have the good problem on ground before you start looking for the bigger fund. Have the good problem of the fact that you have a lot of customers who are already proven, who are already committed to your loyal to your product before you start looking for funding to scale up in that level. Thank you so much, Mr. Adepeju. So my own question, which I believe is going to be the last, we have just a few minutes. I thought I was going to ask a question. My own question is, I think one of the issues that many businesses usually have, I think there's a question in the chat box, but I think let me just go ahead and ask this question. One of the issues that we found that many businesses usually have, especially small businesses who are trying to think of, there's this point in your life where you just feel like, I need more money. I need more money. And right now, at least, I know there are so many funding vehicles. We have the grants, we have the loans, we have the equities and things like that. I was just hoping that you were going to speak a little bit about that, especially as it comes to small businesses, as it comes to, say, businesses like the one you just heard about now. What are the things you're supposed to be looking out for? Are you supposed to start thinking equity? Should you stay with loan first? Should you just be looking for grant first of all? What are the things that should help you make the decision of the kind of funding you should be looking for at a certain time in your business?
I think that's the point when I was
Please, you can go ahead.
Being a business enthusiast, you can say that.
Okay, I'm trying to mute the person who unmuted themselves, but I think I've sorted that
Okay.
out now.
Okay, all right, thank you. So at what point do you think that you need external funding, and what type of funding is suitable for you when you decide that, okay, so yes, you need funding, what type of funding is suitable? So of course, when it comes to, for instance, equity, and when it comes to businesses, the first thing many people will tell you is that it's better to own 1% of something that is working than to own 100% of something that is not working. That's what they will tell you, which is fine and which is absolutely true. However, you see, how you part with that equity is important. The processes, the things that you think about, what you are getting back in return for the equity you are parting with is super, super, super important. Otherwise, with startups, you will let go of equity quickly. You will let go of all your equities, and you will not be able to get things quickly enough. So you will let go. So for instance, imagine that when this person spoke with me in July for equity, 15% equity, 10% profits for 15 years. Imagine that I agreed and collected $30,000. And maybe I was able to buy some things and all those stuff. So already $15,000 is out. 15% is out of it. In January, I had another funder who came in and was asking for 15% equity. So imagine that also I gave out this 15%. Imagine that I gave out this 15% equity too at that time. If I don't have the 15%, that's 30% equity. Where are we in the company? Go. What have we even achieved to go? You know, and already 30% is out of it. Meanwhile, we have not even covered all the states in Nigeria. We are only in 7 states. So that means that by the time we get to 36 states, all the equity will have finished. And by the time we are thinking of setting up a large factory or maybe an industrial factory like the one of Kellogg's or the one of, you know, some multinational company or trying to set up something and move Pan-Africa, there's no equity to give investor again. Meanwhile, the ones that have collected the equity will start harassing you, you know, equity, company is not moving well and everything. So basically, you must be very, very, it's good to take risk, but you must take calculated risk. You must make sure that you are doing your calculations and computations. You will let some go. That's the truth. You don't have to take every fund that come your way. Okay, so should you start up with a loan? Personally, I do not think so. Especially if it is a startup. When a loan is good, is when you are able to estimate, do some cash projections. You are able to estimate very, very well. In a month, what is your income looking like? What is your expenditure looking like? What is the profit? Out of the profit, will you be able to service the loan consistently within the terms of the loan? Those are the things that you need to consider when you want to take a loan. So I do not think when you are starting up, like you have an idea, somebody has given you money now, or you have an idea, you now go to the bank with your idea to say, fund me, and the bank gives you 5 million naira. You will struggle with it. And it's not a cost that you will struggle with it. Because see, in business, to build customer base is hard. And when you build customer base, to maintain customer loyalty is even harder. So those two things are the key things you need to be able to drive your product. And when you drive your product with those two things, you can do some estimation of how much sales you make in a month. Is your sales increasing or decreasing? You know, if a pandemic happens now, what is your fallback plan? All those things. You will take out a loan to start a business. It's a no-no for me. When you have your projections correctly, you can very well get a loan. In fact, the bank's gone, they'll be running after you to come and take a loan. So that's something. A grant is always a good to have. Always, at any stage, everybody wants free money. At any stage, it's true. A grant is a good to have at any stage. It's your go-to for seed funding. It's your go-to for expansion. It's your go-to. However, the grant would not be able to give you the kind of business credibility an equity investor will give you. So an equity investor will not want his money to go down the drain. So an equity investor, a solid equity investor at the growth stage of a company would want something want a business that is thriving, would want a business, you know, that is well aligned with expansion, international growth and stuff like that. So they will continue to draw resources. And that's why who you give your equity to matters. You don't want to give your equity, you know, to somebody who is not even able to give you anything apart from money. No. You want to give your equity to somebody who can give you much more than the money they are giving. So they can give you money, they can give you contacts, they can give you network, they can open doors for you, they can help you to expand, they have incredible resources they can support you with outside the money they are dropping. If it's just money you need, just go to a bank and go and collect your loan. And no need to part with any equity. I mean, so at different stages, you would be able to figure out which one applies and which one does not. But starting up with a loan, no, it's a no-no.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you. So I think I can relate to what you're saying about the whole loan thing in terms of, you know, having a stable cash flow first before you go ahead and take a loan, or else you're going to be in serious problem. It's just a matter of time. I remember that I was there were some people that spoke with us sometime who said they give loan to women businesses, and you know they were telling me what their percentages was, and I thought about it like, okay, a number of people that we have in our community are people who are just starting out, who have not even gotten to the point where they have that stable revenue stream. If I even introduce this kind of thing to this community, I'm going to crash their businesses, because it will not be about running around trying to pay back the loan, not even having the energy to grow the business anymore.
Exactly.
I truly agree with you. So I think if I should put your answers together, number one is the fact that it depends on whatever stage you're in your business at that point.
Absolutely.
Second is that grant is always nice.
Grant is good to have. Yeah.
Grant is everybody's sweetheart.
Yes.
Yes. And then for equity, even when you are going to be looking out for equity, ensure that at least you have built a stable foundation, so you don't throw everything out from the beginning.
Absolutely.
And also, I think I really love the part where you were saying that when you want to give out equity, don't just give out equity to people who just want to give business money alone. I think there's one of the things I say a lot to small businesses, that when you are bringing anybody in as an investor or anything, especially at the early stage of business, money is just one of the things you need from them. If you go around for money alone, if you don't look for somebody who is interested in building business alongside you, you are shooting yourself. It's just someone that will just come and dump the money and do all of the work. It's not a good investment. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. Okay, I know I have to release now. I'm sorry, I can see one more hand, but I cannot. She cannot take any other questions. She only promised us an hour, and she has been faithful to that. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much, Mr. Jayeoba. I think we have a lot of thank you in the chat box by now. Thank you. This has been a really, I was saying to my team that this is like a crash course in preparing for funding. Honestly, we are keeping this video as a treasure. Like, we're keeping it as a treasure in the organization. Thank you so very much, man. We are really proud of the work you're doing with Colorful Giggles, with with Brown Foundation, with Mother Deliveries. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody. It has been such a pleasure having you this evening. Well, I enjoyed myself thoroughly. Thank you.
By the way, I should say something so that my One Academy director is going to say that I said it. So we're supposed to have a closing ceremony for the One Academy in December, and what we usually do is that we bring entrepreneurs from different parts of the world, not just Africa now, Nigeria. Last time we had some people from the US who were panelists who came to, we're going to have like a panel session. Our panelist is the former dean of Drexel College of Business, the School of Business in Drexel College is our is our moderator. So they're already asking me that I must call you to come. And I was telling them, I don't know if you're going to be able to make it. So I'm saying it openly to you now so that you can tell me if you're going to be able to make it.